Hello. Hey everyone, how are you? I just had a couple of technical, not difficulties, but I was just setting some things up there. Hopefully the screen is good. Everything looks good here. Okay, let's get started. Hope everyone's doing well. I see a few people here already. We are going to mess around with some, I guess they could be business related photos today. Again, if you got any questions, shoot them in, send them my way. Now this picture I have already edited this, so I'm just going to flick through what I have done in a faster process so you guys can see. So I'll just give everyone maybe couple of minutes to get in. So if you got any questions, I saw some really good edits come in from Crystal, who sent me a before and after of something she worked on, and I was very impressed. It turned out great. So it's great to see some people actually taking these tutorials and using them for their photos. So yeah, so definitely very good. So this picture here is a friend of mine. I'm going to give them a shout out. Live in Motion, Lisa Balston. She posted this picture of an ice cream she made up on her Instagram, and and you know, it's so hard trying to get content out onto Facebook. You know, keep it going. But the thing is, it's one thing to find the time to take the picture, but then it's the other thing is how to edit it. And the whole idea is, how can we, if this is going on a business page, how can we take it and kick it up a notch? Now you got to remember, this picture is the picture you see here that was posted. So it's obviously someone's taken it with a phone. It's not professional photography, so they didn't pay any money. They took the picture. But how can we take this picture and turn it into something that is going to be, you know, something that's going to draw people in? So I want to show you what I did here with these edits, and I'm going to pull up my I'm going to see if I can do it here. So I'm just going to pull up my phone. This might go dead here for a second. All right, so now we're set up. So basically, I want to show you the edits. So I've done all the stuff on the side of the screen. And you can see that after editing this, I've gone all the way back to original to start at the beginning and bring it up. So basically, from the first thing I did with this picture is I did the white balance. So we'll click on the white balance and you can see what happens. So you can see how it gets rid of that yellowy, orangey, hazy tint. And now it's gone back to something more natural light. Then I went in and I tuned the image. So here I brightened it. I probably did a bunch of things. I'm not going to get into this picture what I did to it. I just want to quickly flip through it. Then I selected some parts and edited those parts, and you can see what I did. I lightened up the ice cream. This is actually a low-carb ice cream. Very healthy ice cream that Lisa has made here. Then I added some curves. I added some detail to it there. I added some more detail. As you can see, it's coming up. I brightened the outside. I brushed the top of the ice cream. I cropped it to give it some shape. I started adding some text. And I put a frame around it. So I did all that with that picture, and it probably took 5 minutes just sitting on the couch. I could have done that faster. Hey, Mike. So let's go back and look at the original. There's the original photograph of the picture of the ice cream. There's the 5-minute edit. Now, one looks like it could go in a magazine, and one looks like it was just taken off a phone. And that's the difference. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. I can guarantee you that ice cream, when you made it, looked more like that in your mind than it did like that. So this is the difference of how you can kick up your Instagram, your business page, without getting a professional photographer. Because you can't have a professional photographer in these situations because you're making stuff every day. And I'm actually thinking of running a contest where for a month I do editing for a small business. They basically send me 1 or 2 pictures a day. I'll edit them up like this and they can put them on their page. So I'm thinking of running a contest. I'll probably run it off of my burstography page. I tried to do something different with this how I brought this page out to people, because I want this page, I feel it's important that people see it, because for small businesses, this is fantastic. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need fancy software. You just need to take that extra 5 minutes. But the thing is, we all know finding time's hard, but this is something you can do on your phone while you're sitting on the couch, maybe scrolling through some Netflix or something like that. So let's go back to the beginning again. I just want to show this because it's very important. We're going to go back to the original. This is the original. I went in and I adjusted the white balance, which gets rid of that creamy, browny, tingy look through the whole picture and brings it to that color. Now, still, that's not right, but this is part of the process. Then we go in and tune the image. So I brightened it a little bit. I've added some contrast. I brought out some of the shadows. And then I'm going to select it. And what I did here is I selected the top of the ice cream and I highlighted it a little bit. Probably added a little bit of brightness there. I went into curves and made a couple of small adjustments. You don't see a lot of change there. Then I went into the details. Again, details would have been sharpening in it and giving it a bit of texture, a bit of structure, popping it out more. Go to the vignette. I've made it a little lighter around the outside instead of doing a darker vignette, which a lot of times is the default. You go in and you put a darker rim around. I wanted to brighten this picture up. It's food, it's white, it's ice cream. We want a bit of brightness to it. Then I went in and I brushed the top and lightened up the ice cream a little bit to look like it would in the actual bowl when it was sitting on the counter. I changed the shape of the picture a little bit in cropping, and then I started just adding the text. Now, all these texts are just presets that are in the app itself. There's an amazing app out there called Adobe Spark, which a buddy of mine, Paul, put from Get Out and Shoot, put me onto, and it's phenomenal. And I'd love to get into that. I have a subscription to Adobe, so there is a price for it. But if you want to take your posters and commercials, small business pictures to another level, creating ads, posters in fractions of seconds, like fraction of minutes, it's awesome, and I've been doing that. So this is an awesome picture of ice cream now. Again, we're going to go back to the beginning. We're taking this to that, and that's what I'm trying to help people do today. I'm not having you guys do, we're not getting into Photoshop, Lightroom here. You don't have to spend any money other than having your phone. If you have a phone, then you can do this edit for no extra money, because this app is a free app. So I'm going to leave this picture now. And again, that's Live in Motion. They're in Bowmanville. They do training, personal training. They do nutrition. Lisa is her and Jason. Lisa was responsible for my health transformation. It's just fantastic people and fantastic business. But I wanted to throw that up there, so a little shout out to them. Now I'm going to open another picture here. We're going to go to. Oh, we're not going to go into pictures. Open. We're going to go down to open. And we're going to find the folder. Now, I want to do another commercial one here. I got to find the folder. Where have I put my folder? Maybe I passed it. I must have passed it. Yeah, so I have a 4 o'clock. So we're going to go into this. Now, I took this picture on my counter this afternoon. This is some soap that I ordered, a local company in Bowmanville. I was meaning to do this before, but I finally got around to ordering some homemade soaps from LV Soap Company. They're in Bowmanville, so shout out to them. I picked them up today. They smell absolutely wonderful. They're vegan. They're very clean. They're beautiful. So I've taken this picture on my phone. Now there's some bright colors in there, but we're going to see what we can do with this picture. We're going to kick it up. Now, obviously, we don't need to put any text in here, really, unless you wanted to put for sale or whatever. You could add some stuff, but the logo's all over it, so you don't really need to add anything. So we're just going to really edit this. So we're going to go into our pencil, and we're going to click that on, and we're going to pull up. Actually, I'm going to look at the crop first, because I don't even know. I did crop this one pretty good in frame, so I'm just going to see. I could bring the side over a little bit. As you can see, I'm bringing it in. But, yeah, maybe there. Then it's got the same space from each corner pretty much all the way around. So, yeah, that's all I need to do. So this could pop out really good. So what we want to do is, as a rule, we're creating the white balance first. That's kind of, sometimes I skip this, but I want you guys to get a hang of going into the white balance. So we're going to go into the white balance, and if you use the little eyedropper thing, or the water dropper, whatever you want to call it, and you touch that on, you want to put that over something gray, because basically it's looking for something gray to get the white balance. So let's have a look around here. You can kind of mess around with that. Something that should be gray, you want it on something gray. So I'm going to go okay there. So you can see what's happened there. If you go back to the original, it's definitely changed a little bit. But I'm going to go back into the white balance and maybe do a little bit of modification on my own here. I'm going to pull up the temperature here. And I'm going to see, you know what, it probably was good the way it was. We need to brighten the picture to get rid of a lot of that gray. So I'm going to go okay there. Now remember, this picture was taken with my phone right over the product. The light was coming in from the window to the left of the picture. As you can see, it's darker on the other side. So you remember, I could have actually taken even if you would have taken a cookie tray or cookie pan, like an aluminum pan, and put that on the other side, it would have reflected the light back and shone it onto the side of the soaps on the right side of the picture. So you could, without having any other items, you could have lit up that side of the soaps by just putting something shiny there to reflect the light back. So there's little tricks that we use in photography. We use a reflector to pull the light back. So I'm going to go into the tune image, and I'm going to have a look at the brightness right off the bat. So now, yeah, I'm going to kick it up a little bit there. And then I like contrast. We talked about this before. I want to kick up some contrast in this picture. Wouldn't mind giving a little bit of saturation to pop out those colors. The ambience, I always say to go in and mess around with this. I'm going to pull it back a bit. Highlights. Highlights will tone down the bright spots in the picture, the parts that are highlighted with light, so that you don't have to technically go in and just pull the whole exposure down. You can just play with that, and it will just select the brightest parts of the picture and pull them back. So you can see that on the left bottom corner of the picture, when I pull it back, it's not really it's getting a little bit more easy to see. It's not as blown out. You can see the grain in the counter, but the rest of the picture is not being darkened down. Whereas if I went in and did that with exposure, the whole picture would have come down in one. So we've selected that. Now, with that said, we can also go into the shadows and do the reverse. We can pull the dark areas. We can add light to them without adding light to the other parts again. So we'll go in and we'll select shadows, which we have. And when I do that, you can see what it does. It doesn't do a lot here, and sometimes you don't even want that. It fades it out a little bit. Sometimes I find you have to play with this in contrast. When you pull the shadows up, your picture gets a little flat, and you sometimes have to compensate by using the contrast to bring that back. But we'll put a little bit in there. And then we'll go down to the warmth. And do you want warmth in this picture? I kind of like it cold. I'm going to pull it back a little bit. Now it's kind of like white balance because you're basically playing with the temperature. So it's either a blue or a warm, cold or warm. So basically I am going to pull it back because I like that. I'm going to go like that. Then I'm going to go back up into there again, and I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to have a look at the saturation again. Now, the one thing I wish this program had was something called vibrance. And vibrance would basically select certain colors and pop them out Vibrance would say, okay, that's a nice bright orange, a bright yellow, a bright blue. It would pick those colors and enhance those without bringing all the color out around it. Like it wouldn't affect the countertop and the neutral colors so much. It grabs the bright colors and makes them pop, makes it more vibrant. So we're going to go with that here. And then I'm going to go back in, and I'm going to go to, what should we do? We could go into HDR and see what happens. Now, this probably is a little strong. Now, this gives it high dynamic range. Basically makes it look three-dimensional. It basically tries to digitally separate the layers. So if you can look on there, you can see it balances out. It basically kind of evens out all the colors. So I like a little bit of that. We can add a little bit of saturation here too with the app, and a little bit of brightness, and we'll go there. So let's have a look at what we've got so far. So there's the shot that I took off the counter. Once again, looks okay, but that's what it could look like. So I'm still going to play with this a little bit. And again, this is what's fun about sitting on the couch with this program. You can just keep playing and playing and playing with it, and I think that's a real neat thing with it. What have I got? What did I bring? Hold on. Where did I go there? I wanted to go into curves. So curves, again, there's a lot of those presets in there as you can see. If we go here, you can go in and pick these, look through them. They're like filters that someone's already gave. You can click on soft contrast, hard contrast, brighten it if you want. It's basically, you can look at these if you want. That's kind of neat. If you want that kind of look, a faded look, kind of gives it that more dramatic look. I'm going to go back to neutral, because one thing I like to do, and it's kind of more an advanced feature, I'm going to go into RGB, click that on, and I like to just, if I grab the darks on the bottom and pull them back. Now, if you went up, you could, that's that preset that we were talking about. If you grab one of these corners, you can add a little bit of depth to the picture, which I like, and that's what I'm going to keep. Also, I think you can go into luminance, and you can play with that too. You can do stuff with that too. So you can pull that across and brighten it a little bit. You can play with it there. Let's have a look. So let's get out of there. So now we're making the picture pop. Now it's looking more like something you would see maybe in a magazine rather than that. Notice you want the crispness in the picture. If you want to fade it, that's great. So now let's go into the brush here and let's mess around with the brush. This is a fun picture to mess around with the brush. So let's say we want to go into saturation. We're going to take it down to +5. You have a choice here of 5 or 10, and you can go backwards. So if you want to take some of the color out, if you found a part of the picture was too saturated, you could definitely pull that back. But we're going to go to 5, and I'm just going to rub my finger on the front bar of soap. And it made it a little bit more blue, but I'm just going to go and touch the picture in certain spots, bring out the soap. Remember, you can zoom in here. See, we're going to pop out the colors of the soap, that little bit here and there. I'm just going around the picture and touching some edges. I'm going to touch that the top of that yellow package soap at the top, a little bit there, and go okay. So I like it. It might be a little, it's pretty good. I like it. It looks fun. It looks like a fun picture now. It looks like the soap is alive. And then you could definitely add a frame to this if you want. I don't know. Again, am I doing too much to the picture? I don't know. But we're going to go, and we're going to add a little frame because there's a lot of frames around these pictures. And notice how they've got the white frame. Maybe the white frame is the right one. Or is the black one the right one? So we'll go to the black one. Oh, the black's nice too. Again, personal preference. The white one may be less harsh. So we'll go with the white. I'll go okay. And there's the picture of the soap that I bought today. I definitely can see the kick up there. Now, I did this talking to you. I could have done this on the couch or sitting just down. I could have done a lot faster, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've edited so many pictures, but I see this picture come to life. There's one thing I want to do as I'm looking at it on my phone, though. I'm going to grab the brush again. I'm going to go into exposure, and I'm just going to go down to -3. And on the bottom left side of the picture, I noticed that it just seems a little bit bright to me, and I'm just right now, you can't see it, but I'm brushing my finger over that bar of soap, the orange bar of soap, and I'm just toning it down a little bit. I'm going to have a look at that, so we're going to go there. So there you go. There's the LV Soap Company out of Bowmanville. I picked these soaps up today. They smell absolutely delicious. I'll have to try one out, but I'm so glad that this whole lockdown thing has forced me to do these things that I wanted to do and get soaps like this. So yeah, I'm trying these guys out. They look wonderful. Awesome packaging. Sure, they cost more than your Dove soap, but you're supporting a local business and you're getting something delicious. So there we go. There's soap. So we've done 2 business. Well, we didn't do the first one, but you got to see two photos here that could be done up and used in a business. So I should, I'm going to save this. So we'll export it. I'm just going to go save. And now I just saved this picture. If I open that picture back up in Snapseed, it will allow me to go back and edit or re-edit or go in and adjust all the things that I've done. So you can do that. So if you could save it as a JPEG, which is just a photograph, you can do that too, which is fine. But I always save them in case I want to go back in and say, oh yeah, I want to fix that. I can do that later. So that's just a habit I have. You can save it as a copy, so you can save this picture like this with the ability to edit it, but you can also keep the original on your phone as well. So lots of options. It's great if you're doing it before and after. Save it separately. Then you can look at them on your phone. It's a really good thing to do because a lot of times when you get into more professional editing, what you end up doing is you get into tuning your screen. So you adjust the color of your screen. My screen is actually due to be calibrated. So what I do is I have a thing that goes on my screen and it basically sets it back to the right color format. Because over time with this thing being on, they do whiten. They do go cold and you have to warm them back up. It's just how screens work. It's just, I guess, the lighting and the software. I don't know the real scientific reasoning for why a screen changes color. You wouldn't think it would, but it does. So I use a thing called Spider. It goes on my screen. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes, but you're supposed to do that maybe every 2 weeks if you're editing on a regular basis. Funny enough, my phone never seems to go out, but screens do. So I don't understand. So let's open something else here. Let's see what we've got in our folder. Open from device. We're going to go down to the folder. I did put some pictures in here. Okay, here's one. Let's say, for example, you go to a restaurant and it's dark inside and you take this picture. This is one of our favorite restaurants in Toronto. It's called Gio Rana's. Really, really, really nice restaurant. It's also known for the one with the nose outside. Notice these pictures are all basically, you're focused on the nose. The place is called the Nose. So this picture, you take it, you go out to the place. We got to sit in the vault this time. We went out for birthday dinner last year. I think it was around, I'm not sure if it was Lisa's birthday. I think it was Lisa's birthday. But we went out and the whole family was in this room. And it's an amazing place. So if you ever get to Toronto, go to the Nose. Leslieville, on the corner of Leslie and Queen. So let's go in here now. We're just going to pull up. Actually, you know what you could do with a picture like this? If you're looking for a quick edit and you want to get this out to social media right away because you're out with your friends. One of the things I noticed right off the bat, actually, is the perspective of this picture. So I'm just going to go back out of here, and I'm going to go into perspective. And, you know, these pictures, when you take them, I'm just pulling that down at the see what I'm doing there? I can stretch this out a little bit. Right now, the ceiling, when you looked at it, the ceiling was out a little bit, the back wall. So I've just pulled that down like that. Now it's basically all lined up. And everything's in the center. I guess I could go back in there. But again, we'll be doing this kind of quick. I had already edited one of these pictures the night of. So how it works with me is if I took this picture of the restaurant and I wanted to put it up and say, hey, this is where we're at, I would have done this right there and then in the restaurant. So I'm going to go in here right away and do a quick edit because I want to show you. I'm going to grab the healing tool. Why am I grabbing the healing tool when you look at that picture? Because the bottom right-hand side, that table is driving me nuts. There's a little bit of a table there. So I'm going to zoom in on that table. I'm just going to brush over that table and get rid of it. It's gone. It's that fast. It's that fast of an edit. And I'm going to go OK. And now when you look at the picture, it's pretty much balanced out. You don't see that bright table down in the bottom corner. These are little things that make your picture stick out and get noticed because now when people look at it, they're looking straight down the center of that table. And we could actually check that if we are. I'm going to go to crop here. You know what? We're pretty much, that table is pretty much down the center. So that's good. Okay, so let's go in. If you want to do a quick edit, let's go to that HDR thing and see what happens. Look at that now. The picture's come alive. So let's go in here. So you just select the HDR setting. We're going to make this look pretty funky. We can add saturation if we want. A little bit of light in there. I'm going to go OK. So already there, our pictures come to light. We're going to go back in. Now this picture here, obviously, it's going to be, if you had this blown up really big, it would be very grainy. And, you know, so don't be afraid to kind of make it look more arty. Have some fun with it. Make it pop, because it's not like you're taking a portrait picture and you want it really crisp and clean here. This is a rustic picture that you can mess around with. So we're going to go in here. We're going to see the contrast. We'll kick up the contrast a little bit. The ambience, we can do it like this where the table pops. I kind of like seeing the whole room. We could do that again. We can go back to that. That's kind of cool. Or do you want it like that? Again, this is where you're at. That looks cool, but that looks cool. This is where the art comes in. What do you want? How do you want this image to see? I think the image would have probably been around there going in, but that's kind of cool too. Now you could do this and keep it bright in the middle, and I'll show you why. We can pull that back a little bit. We can pull that back a little bit, the shadows back a little bit. So we've lit the picture, but now we're pulling certain things back. And again, this is you can cool it or you can warm it. So we're going to pull it back a little bit. let's have a look at where we've gone. So there's our original shot of the rim. Didn't look like that. It kind of looked like that with all the color flying around when you're there. So I'm really liking this. It's exciting now. And if you got attention deficit disorder, when you're sitting in a restaurant waiting for everyone to get there, this is stuff you do. Now you can go into these grunge looks and stuff like that, and you can do stuff like this too. You can go in and mess around with this. You can pull the style back. You can do all these things. Look, you can go crazy with this. You can do whatever you want. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to kind of keep it like that. But that was kind of funky. What else are we gonna do? We're gonna add a bit of vignette. Oh, we could do lens blur if we wanted to make it look like that. So we blur the sides and we're more focused to look down the middle of the picture. And then what we can do is we can strengthen the vignette around the edges. So that's kind of cool. So original there. And now what we have. So I kind of like that. So now it looks really, really cool. You could, if you wanted to, sharpen a little bit. We could add some sharpening. So again, there's that's pretty cool. The pictures on the side are popping out. The table is lit nicely. And you've got a bit of focus pulling you right down, and it looks long. So yeah. Again, you're out for dinner and you take a picture at a restaurant and you can take it from this to that. And it just makes the whole point. I mean, ask yourself, why are you posting the picture on Facebook or Instagram? Because to you, it looks awesome. Remember, the camera does not make it look awesome. Has to deal with all the light, and there wasn't a lot of light in this room. Your eyes will make the room look like the picture because you're adjusting to all the different light and shadows in the room. The camera doesn't do that, and that's the big thing with photography. You have to remember that. If you want to kick up your game, you got to do stuff like this. So I'm, you know what? I don't need to do anything else to that. I'm going to save it. And I'll shoot these pictures into the comments afterwards. I'm going to modify. I really love that warmth. This is a fantastic Italian restaurant. The best food, the best prices. I kid you not. If you're in Toronto and you haven't been here, you have to go. Let's open another one from device. We'll go down to our 4 p.m. folder. And let's do a cake. This is one of Lisa's cakes from the cafe. So when we do cakes like this, when we did, we don't have the cafe anymore, but when we did cakes like this, you always want a picture of it. Now, when you're doing so many cakes, the problem is, like, this one was quickly made, the store was busy, and Lisa had me go deliver it. So I go deliver it. I don't have time to set up and put lights and backdrops and do fancy pictures, so I always shoot one with my phone. Then I will come back and edit it for her. So let's do a little edit here. I'm going to go into rotate because for some reason I think this cake could be just twisted a little bit, like just a little bit, and then I get rid of that little edge in the picture there. And I may even want to come in on a little bit more. So I'm going to go to crop. If I'm going too fast for anybody, just shoot me a message or in the comments, and I'll go back or answer it or whatever. Whatever you need. So I don't mind the little gold spatula down the bottom. That's fine. I'm okay with that because it kind of frames it to the blue on the other side. I want to do the white balance though, so I'm going to go into the white balance. I'll just do this one by hand. I'm going to pull it back a little bit, so it's a little bit the cake is actually white, so we want it to look white, and I'm going to do that here. I'm going to go okay. So you can see already what we've done with the picture is already better. Now we're going to go into the tune the images, and we're going to. Do we need to brighten a bit? can make it pop. A little bit of contrast wouldn't hurt at this point. And then we're going to add a little bit of saturation for the flowers to pop. Actually, you know what? We might not. I'll show you what we're going to do. We'll do the ambience first. We're going to pull that back a bit. I'm going to pop the highlights out a little bit because this picture is a little bit flat. There was no lighting in it. All the drapes were pulled in the room. I remember it. I remember this. And we're going to go like that. So I'm going to go okay. Now I'm going to go. I'm going to go back to the white balance because I kind of feel like I need a little bit wider. And I'm going to go to the brush. And I'm going to select saturation. I'm going to go to 5 and I'm going to zoom in here because these flowers need some color. And I'm just going to brush over the flowers. I'm going to brush that blue. I'm just using my finger. Use the blue bar on the right above my head there. That little bar will allow you to slide up without touching the picture because you've got your finger is now a brush. And I'm just going to brush those flowers above, and I'm going to go up to the top layer. And I'm just going to do the top of that. And I'm going to go okay. So you can see now the flowers pop. And I'm just going to put my finger on the screen just so we can see what it looked like before. So there's the original, and that's what we've got already. So I'm going to go into curves, and you could brighten it like that if you wanted to. We could even pull it. Maybe I can pull it back if I can. It's tricky to select that little circle thing. Oh, there we go. So you could brighten a little bit. We can also go back to curves. There was an illuminance setting I saw that I think is new. I think that's been updated in the app, that luminance. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get out of there. It's getting a little bit blown out there. Now, the other thing you could do is, the other thing that's distracting me, if we take the brush, the healing brush, and I'm going to zoom into the top. Oh, don't want that. I'm going to zoom in. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to go. Those little arrows on the back are your backwards, forwards. Obviously, we know what they're for. I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm just going to touch the top of that curtain because, no, I got too close. I'm going to go up. I just want to touch that little bit there and see if I can get that little corner so you can see what I did there. So the top of the picture, there was that little something in the curtain. I don't know. I have no idea what it was. Now, another thing is, see that break in the curtain, that blue line? It's driving me nuts. So I'm going to go and get the healing tool again. I'm going to zoom in. Try to get close. Remember, zooming in is 2 fingers on the screen, separating them apart. Put the 2 fingers down at the same time, otherwise you'll start to do the effect. Oh. So you can see what we're doing. We're just touching. Obviously, it's amazing how powerful this little program is. So I'm just taking that out. I just want to touch that a little bit. And the thing is, how close can I get here? Wow, it's pretty close. Did I do too much? Don't forget, if you hit it and you don't like it, go backwards. But I mean, we could even leave it like that and go okay, because no one's going to know that that's a pedal. So you can see what we've done now. Now we've got rid of that blue line, and you might not even think of that, but it's amazing what that's done to the picture now. So when we look at the picture, all you're looking at is the cake. The blue on the side highlights the cake. It helps frame it. It's an accent, but you don't have that blue line in the curtain that you had before. And these are the little trips. That's not necessarily using the app. a technique for that. That's just a technique for photography in general. Have a look at your picture and see what you can do with it. Because if you were doing a photo shoot with this cake and you had time, you would have closed the drapes. You would have set it up differently. You would have taken the time to do that if you were a professional photographer. But in this case, I had to snap it and get back to the cafe and do the next delivery or serve customers or something. So what this allowed me to have is a great picture to put up on social media and say, "Oh, look, we just delivered this cake," and people are like, "Wow, that looks great." Instead of putting that up there, it doesn't show the beauty of the cake because it's overcasted by all the lighting in the room and my angle's off and I didn't fix the drapes. So again, you can go in here and you could still do a little bit more. If you wanted that to pop a little bit more, you could just kick the saturation up. The flowers are popping. Beautiful cake. So, yeah. And then where are we at here now? 4:41. Maybe we got time to do one more. Maybe I can find a landscape. So this could be a business picture too. You know, you're a cake decorator and this is your picture. You could put this picture on your website. Looks great. The other one before, not a website picture, though the cake was amazing. So let's go back to, we're going to save this. And I'm going to do one more before we go. And we're going to go down to, I put a bunch in here. Okay, let's see if we can have some, you know what, this one, to finish off with this one. This is a picture someone took that was in, I think this is Mont Tremblant. I think it is. Someone took this picture, a friend of mine, and sent it to me and said, "Hey, check this out." And I thought, okay, great. But then I thought, it's missing so much. So I just want to do a little quick edit on it, just to show you what you can do with your vacation pictures. You know, when you're on vacation, you're chilling. This is an amazing thing to do when you're chilling on your deck chair or hanging out in your room. Edit photos. It's amazing. So let's go into crop. It's landscape. So what happens if we do 16 by, we don't need all that stuff on the bottom. Let's go like that. Now, I should have brought that over a little bit there, so because you'll see what I mean. I'm going to go back here. That building there, that little corner of the building was dark and I didn't like it. Always look at those little things. Zoom in. You can see that this picture was actually taken through a window because you can see this glare here. See that glare in the middle? And you can almost see the person who took the picture, almost. So that glare shouldn't be there. So we could go in and try to fix that right now with using the healing tool, if we can. We got to zoom right in. But if I do this, because it's all grass there, green, let's see what happens. Look at that. So now we don't have the glare in the middle of the picture. Your eyes were going right to that glare from the window, from the light, probably from the sun glaring off the window, and now we don't have it. So already we're off to a great start. So let's go to the HDR because it is a landscape picture. So right off the bat, landscape, HDR works great with landscape. You have nature and people. I always find nature's a little over the top. People setting is pretty good. Fine and all that, it just gets a little crazy. Though that's kind of neat in that picture. The strong one. So maybe we're gonna go with this one. I never used this one, but we're gonna pull it back a little bit. So let's go like that. So you see what the clouds have done now. If we hold our finger down, the clouds are popping out. It looks like the sun's coming across. It's brightening that up. So I'm just going to go in here now, go to the shadows. So we're going to go up to Tune Image. And actually, let's see what this does first. We'll pop that maybe a little bit. We're going to go to Shadows. Shadows isn't doing a lot in this case. So I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to grab the brush. I'm going to grab some saturation. And I pull it down to 5. I'm just going to, see these buildings? I'm just going to brush them. I'm going to give them a bit of color. Then I'm going to go and select the exposure. And I'm going to brush these buildings over here. I'm going to give them a little bit more brightness. Anywhere the buildings are dark. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to do it again. Go over top of that. That's a little too much. Okay, let's go with that. And let's see what we're at here. So you can see already it's popping, but we need a bit of contrast. So I'm actually gonna go to curves for a minute. I'm gonna select natural, and I'm gonna do that little thing I like to do with the line here. I'm gonna pop it over a little bit. Just give it a little bit of contrast. And then we're gonna go to the contrast, make the highlights pop. We want it warm because the sun's coming. Now see how the sun's coming in on the side there? It's warming up the picture. Let's grab the brush. We'll grab a little bit of temperature. We'll just highlight the grass a little bit. And we're going to warm it up a little bit, the whole picture, just a little bit to land because the sun's shining in. And then we're going to go okay there. And then we're going to go and dodge and burn. Dodge and burn is basically going to lighten and darken. The darks will get brighter. Or the darks will get darker and the lights will get lighter in this case with this little yeah, I think if we go negative, let's just see, yeah, there we go. So you get your clouds popping more. So if you go up, it'll work with the lights. If you go down, it'll work. This is not the greatest dodge and burn application on an app, but it is working. What I want to do though is get out of here, and then we're going to go quickly into doing a vignette. We could add a little vignette. And then another thing we can do is, if we want to make this look really cool, is we can go into the lens blur. And we can make this look like a mini village. And I'll show you how. If I can squish it, there we go. So if we do that, and then we get the transition out a bit, and we'll vignette, darken the vignette, and then the blur strength you can adjust. And you can see what we've done with this picture. We've really changed it. We've made it look like a miniature village now. From that's the shot with the haze on the window, and we brought it down to that. And again, this is this you could throw in a frame. Let's do that. Oh, that's pictures. We don't want text. We don't want text. We'll put a frame, but what frame are we going to put? Something cool. Again, this is personal preference, this part. Make it look like a postcard, right? I kind of like that. And again, remember, if you move it back in and out, you can adjust it. I don't know if I do with that white thing there. It doesn't really do it. That's kind of neat. Looks like, now it looks like a postcard. So there's your trip photograph. So think about this. You send that to your friends who are at home, but that's what it, oh, I got to get out of there, sorry. And that's what we went from. So there's the picture. Oh, look where I am. Now look where I am. Much, much better. So I'm going to save that out. So there you have it, folks. There's a session. Definitely try these out. Use these ideas, mess around with them. Again, if you want to try another program, if you have Lightroom, I'd be more than welcome to spend some time on Lightroom with you, walk you through the controls. Lightroom will basically do this and 100 times more. You can definitely work on your desktop. It's amazing what you can do in Lightroom. Obviously, it's a paid program. It's really more for the advanced photographer. But this, if you need to bring your pictures up a level, this definitely does it for social media. Like if someone posts that picture compared to what it was from the camera, it's amazing. And it doesn't take it. Once you practice this a little bit, it's easy to do. Easy to do. So yeah, keep practicing. And if you get something done, send it to me. I'll post it up. And we can show people what you've done if you want to do that. But I think it's great. Keep challenging yourself. I think we're doing fantastic. I'm enjoying going through these pictures and finding them and messing with them. But again, this could have been a postcard. Now you could put this and thank people, or if you were away on your honeymoon, this would be a great picture to send to somebody. Or anyway, sky's the limit. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful. I think it's Thursday, so have a wonderful Thursday evening. And again, if you got pictures you want me to edit, you're curious to see how I would do it, just send them to me, and I'll shoot them back. So, yeah, feel free, and we will talk to you real soon. See you guys. We'll do one next week. See ya. Bye now.